Welcome to Transition Tuesday. How y'all doing? I'm Lilith Elektra. That's Amanda Bonanza. And we're here to answer questions and start a conversation and just have a great time. I hope y'all are doing well. Amanda, how are you?
I'm so well, thank you, Lilith. I'm doing just fine here in Southern California. How's Detroit?
Detroit's amazing. I'm loving it. It's a month and 3 days in, and so far, I'm having a blast.
Yeah, that's great. I love to hear it. I can't wait to come visit you. I'm going to visit Lilith in Detroit this summer, just so y'all know. Everyone's dying to know my travel plans on this show that you just saw for the first time.
Bring your passport. We'll go to Windsor and get dinner one night.
I will bring my passport. And you're in Canada, and then maybe just somehow not come back.
Let's never come back.
Just never come back.
We live in Windsor now.
It's weird because it's like I hear about people like leaving the country to go on vacation, and then they come back, and I'm just like, why?
You were there. You were gone.
You were there. You were out. You were out.
It's like escaping at the end of a horror movie and being like, you know what? We should go back to Crystal Lake.
Exactly.
See what's out there. I think I left a canoe there.
We did book it for 2 weeks.
We left all the food there.
Scritch.
Dad's gonna be mad. We don't bring back his canoe. Oh, he's got his standing paddleboard thing. Oh man, yeah, we got to go back. He gave me that for my birthday. Just answer a question.
Let's do a question, please. Thank you.
How common is it for teenagehood, your teenage years, to be forgettable? I really don't know if it's trans related or not. It might be, but I think. But am I the only one that their early teenagehood and puberty, just say your teenage years, puberty seems forgettable? Sure, I remember bits and pieces, but for example, my friends have said some weird stuff that I did. For example, I had, bad hygiene. As embarrassing it is, the fact that I can't believe I had shown what could potentially be signs of depression that early, even some general not bad stuff, I really just don't remember. Meanwhile, I feel I remember more bits and pieces about late childhood and even have accepted I was trans at 16. I can remember a good amount of stuff, both good and bad. Even more so events after starting HRT. And I don't even feel bad about it, mainly because I'm at a good point in my life right now. I have to admit, though, sometimes get jealous of how vividly someone remembers this era of their life, while to me, nothing interesting happened in there for the most part. I don't know. I guess I wanted to see if there were similar experiences.
Well, that's a lot. That's a whole lot of
That is
stuff
a lot.
there. No, I really remember most of my life very vividly. I don't have memory issues at all, so I can't really relate.
No.
I don't know how common it is. So to clarify, it sounds to me like question asker, it's like talking about their tweens, like early on, like puberty to 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then then they came out as trans, and then their heads started clearing up and all that. I can speak to that in a way. Coming out and definitely medically transitioning, the hormones did clear up my head in a big way. There is a thing known as brain fog that does kind of lift once you start having the correct hormones flowing through your blood. That's a thing. That's a thing very much in the trans community. But I mean, this sounds more like a question for a bona fide psychologist, because this is to me, it jumps right out as trauma related. When people forget chunks of their life, that's usually something really fucking bad happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like that. You talked about remembering something when you're 5. All I remember is little flashback things from my life, especially childhood. And it's all bad stuff. I don't have any happy memories of childhood. It's so weird. It's okay. Whatever.
No, it's not okay. That's not great. I don't love that.
I mean,
I had a terrible childhood. It's fine. No, it's not. I love you. It's not okay.
I wouldn't want to go through it again, but I'm okay with what my life was. But I would say that, something that stuck with me on this is I very bad at remembering dates and when things happened, even as I was an adult. And I feel since I've started hormones, I feel there's an importance to my life now that wasn't there. And I do remember dates. It used to be can you remember when you moved into this place? And I'd be I have no idea when I did that in my life. But anything since my transition, I remember dates and I remember when things happen. I want to tie this into another thing I saw where someone was just did you ever see yourself growing old? And it's funny, before I transitioned, I never saw myself, I assumed that 50 was as far as I could see.
As far as you were going to get, yeah.
Now I just see myself as a cranky old lady. I'm not cranky.
Not cranky. You're not cranky at all.
I mean, I'm very cranky.
you're barely going to be old because like the hormones make you young forever.
Yeah, so like I'll be like 88 and the neighborhood will be like, oh yeah,
I mean,
that's
we're both in deep into middle age, and I think we both look pretty freaking good considering.
yeah.
Thank you. That's hormones, baby.
But I would also say that like a lot of that memory stuff, like, yeah, is it trauma? Yes. I'd like if people in the comments to notice anything. I think one thing I did notice after I started my transition, I did start like backwards piecing stuff together, like stuff that I had kind of remembered seeing how that related to my transition. Like when I was a kid, I used to cry about my name all the time.
Yeah. I used to hate having to keep my hair short. That was a big one for me. I hated it.
That was my other thing. Like I fought with my parents all the time about my hair.
Hated shopping for clothes. Hated boys' clothes.
Yeah.
I got better at it over time. Like when I was in my young adult stages and I was a touring musician, like I got good at it, but like it was still fucking frustrating. And I wore a lot of women's clothes.
And, you mentioned trauma. We might not think that like going through the wrong puberty isn't trauma, but
it's very traumatic.
It's trauma, yeah. So like it wouldn't surprise
trauma.
Me that, I know, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's why that particular moment in time where you started puberty is where you don't have many memories, because you're not even aware of it.
Bad.
You're not even aware of it, and you're like fighting this internal battle that you're not even aware of between your hormones. I still have a problem, like you mentioned, like the bad hygiene's, like you'd skip showers and stuff. Like, hey, I shower like once a week. Yeah, it's just like whatever. But the problem is, thanks to estrogen, I don't
for this show.
I don't smell as much as I would have as a teenage boy.
Oh, no, I smell great now.
Yeah, I smell amazing.
I smell so good all the time, even if I don't shower. I was like, this is wonderful.
Great. It's exactly the vibe I was looking for.
I just fucking love being a girl so much.
I would love to hear from other people on that and see if other people have that response.
Yeah, it's funny because I was nearly exactly the opposite. You could ask me like where I was on any given month in the 1990s, and I could paint a pretty accurate picture for you, but get me into the aughts. And like, I couldn't tell you the difference between like 2003 and 2008. It was all just a big drunken blur. For me, like, I mean, you probably weren't on a lot of like hard drugs when you were 11 or 12, but like maybe you were, I don't know, but like I wasn't. But like in my 20s, like I didn't do like crazy stuff. I smoked a lot of weed and tripped on acid a lot. And I stuck to the hallucinogens mostly, like X and Molly and all that stuff. Did a lot of that stuff though, and like that was one of the things about LSD. It was like LSD, you remember so much from it. Like it's very much a memory enhancing drug, whereas something like Xanax or like antidepressants, those will wipe your memory real good. So maybe, I don't know if you were on ADHD meds or anything like that. Like, I mean, we don't know if you were on medication. That could be a huge factor in why you don't remember stuff, because depending on what medications, like Xanax and Valium, and what's the other big one that ADHD they put? It was like Ritalin.
Yeah, Ritalin sounds right.
Ritalin was big for a while. I don't know if I think they stopped doing that. If you were on antidepressant meds and you were on like antipsychotic meds or anything, or any ADHD medicine, like all of that can contribute to memory loss. And so like there's so many things at play here that like I don't think your memory loss is necessarily super out of the ordinary, but I don't think it's exactly like normal either. And I think you might want to talk to a therapist or a psychologist about this.
I'd love to hear it, because for me, it was amazing. Yeah. Like after I started my transition, like just the connections I was making, like the Weebay meme where it's like, like, oh, it's all hitting me. Oh, that's where these behaviors came from. Now that I'm transitioning and I can start to see that's where I'm at. I'd love to hear about, one, if anyone else kind of has these issues or has noticed this with their memory, and two, I'd love to hear like the little connections you made when you finally like started your transition, or finally got to the point where you kind of realized what was going on or who you were, and you started making those steps, and see if you can make those connections to your past behavior and see where it came from, because I think that's fascinating to me.
And I think Lilith's absolutely right about that. Like, I if you don't remember, and if you're really upset and this is bothering you, you should maybe see someone. But reality of it is like probably the reason you don't remember is you weren't having that great a time. And if you really want to drudge up old memories of like a time that was an unhappy and unhealthy time, I suppose you could. But like it is better to focus on the good things. And you say like as soon as you came out and you started transitioning, you started feeling better and you started remembering things. So focus on that. Like,
yeah.
That's the good part. Like that's the healing process of HRT and transitioning is it's so transformational and such a crazy, wild, healthy healing process that like it's so overwhelming and it's huge. It's just wild for me because like I spent so much of my life like pre-transition. It's most of my life, and so you're fortunate that you were young, be able to transition young, and you'll get to experience your 20s and your 30s as the right gender, and that's great. I'm really happy for you because like that's huge, and I'm quite envious, but you know I'm happy with the way my life's going. So it's like, yeah,
good answer.
Yeah, good answer. I don't see where we can cut that out.
That's all right. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Any last words of wisdom, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, not last words of wisdom with this, but like I do want to say, hey, if you're interested and you have a question for us, please drop it in the comments or get in touch with us on the Transverse Discord, trans section. If you're in there, if you're in trans section, don't know how to get in there.
I mean, if they're watching
kids,
us live,
you're a kid, you know how to get in. You're
they're watching on the Transverse. Probably
they're watching on the Twitch. They're watching on the YouTubes. They know how to get into Discord.
For now, if you want us, you have to find us there because we're not going to find anything for at least.
I'm still figuring out how to. This is my like first time on Discord as an old person, and like it's mostly intuitive, but there's some little proprietary quirks I've noticed. Like that's like, how do I do this one thing? How do I get to my DMs? Like little things that aren't super ultra intuitive, but like, it makes sense. It's laid out in a way that I can wrap my head around. So I get behind it.
I'm just doing what she's doing. So
ask us on Discord, DM us, or just leave a message in the comments. We would love it. We would love to answer questions from all y'all. Like that would make us really happy. Yeah, that's about that. And we love you, and
have a great week.
We'll see you next Tuesday.